I'm here to draw attention to the ongoing border security.
I think your mic, check to make sure you're on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm here to draw attention to the ongoing border security disaster caused by the deliberate acts of the Biden administration and by the worst, most dishonest leadership at the Department of Homeland Security in our history. Make no mistake, the absolute humanitarian and security catastrophe that we're facing was created on purpose. This is exactly what this administration and Democrats in Congress want to see inflicted on our nation. The impact on my home state of Texas is profound. From the lives lost, property destroyed, taxpayer dollars spent to not only try to handle the security our federal government has surrendered to Mexican cartels, but also on housing, schooling, and healthcare for the vast illegal immigrant population. So far under the Biden administration, approximately 4 million illegal aliens have unlawfully crossed the Texas border, 1.9 million in 2023 alone, representing nearly half of those apprehended across the country. Additionally, Texas has had about 500,000 known gotaways detected by Border Patrol, representing nearly 60% of those apprehended nationwide. And as you are aware, those gotaways are the most dangerous. These illegal aliens are most likely violent criminals, gang members, and potential members of terrorist cells now operating in our country. To stop the vast tsunami of human trafficking, drug trafficking, and invasion of our country, Texas has had to spend over $5 billion to support local law enforcement operations to support and protect our people through Operation Lone Star, under which Texas has apprehended more than 400,000 illegal immigrants, arrested more than 33,000 criminals with more than 30,000 felony charges reported, and seized more than 426 million lethal doses of fentanyl. Our state shouldn't have to be responsible for this kind of massive national security operation, but while we dig in and fight back, Democrat-run virtue-signaling sanctuary cities protest because a few thousand illegal immigrants are brought to their doorsteps, even though they asked for that when they declared themselves sanctuary cities in the first place. Texas is the front line of Biden's border disaster. Not only are Mexican cartels in control of the southern border, but they're supported by the Biden administration, which focuses the Border Patrol and ICE not on apprehending and deporting people, but on processing illegal immigrants as quickly as possible and then moving them across the country with taxpayer-funded transportation. Put simply, Mayorkas' DHS operation has created transportation assistance for human trafficking in a massive new era of human slavery in America. Locally in 2023 alone, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office made 115 human trafficking-related arrests and made outreach to the nearly 100 potential known and suspected victims they identified. In one case of human smuggling this year, 10 victims were identified, and the operation was tied back to a Mexican cartel. The victims were so fearful of the traffickers that our sheriff's office could not determine whether they were not only forced into labor, but also brought into the country for sex trafficking. This is the cruel reality of the Biden administration's open border policies. Equally tragic than vast amounts of drug-related smuggled into our state are destroying lives and families. More than 1,100 North Texans have died from fentanyl poisoning since Biden took office. Statewide, drug-related deaths involving fentanyl skyrocketed by 33% since 2019, now accounting for almost half of all drug-related deaths, killing an average of 5 Texans per day. It is a lie to say that fentanyl only comes through the ports of entry. That's just what DHS is catching. Far more is flooding Texas and the rest of our country through unsecure southern border. Earlier this year in the Carrollton Farmers Branch School District, fentanyl was laced with pills and sold in middle and high schools, sometimes by dealers as young as 14 years old. 9 teenagers died. 9 teenagers had an overdose, and 3 of whom died. When investigators caught and charged the main drug dealer, he ultimately pled guilty to selling more than 100,000 fake pills laced with fentanyl. Young children with a lifetime in front of them are now cut down every day because this administration does not seem to care how high the body count goes as long as they keep the border open. I've spoken to too many mothers in North Texas who have lost children to fentanyl. The grief and pain they bear is soul-crushing, especially since these deaths could have been prevented by simply enforcing the laws that we already had on the books before this administration put American lives at risk. I want to commend the efforts made by Chairman Green and this committee in investigating Mayorkas' dereliction of duty and role in perpetuating the crisis at our southern border. The investigations have shown decisively that Secretary Mayorkas has failed to execute the duties of his office. He has violated the trust of the American people by deceiving them and Congress. Worse, he has actively prevented the enforcement of our nation's laws in the name of political expediency at the cost of American lives. I urge Chairman Green and my colleagues at the committee to continue in your efforts to hold Secretary Mayorkas accountable for impeachment from his office, and I yield back.